Good morning, I'm Meteorologist Chiat Craft. Well, hurricane season begins June 1st. However, notice over the past 7 years, we have had development in the month of May. Now, even though some of our long-range models are starting to hint at development, it's just too far out to give exact details on what potentially could form and, of course, when. So whenever we are tracking the tropics, we want you to stay weather smart. So it's a good idea this time of the year. Make sure you're checking in at least once a day, mornings or evening. It doesn't matter where, what platform. You can watch online, social media, or on TV. But just keep up to date with the forecast as far as the tropics, especially as we trend a little closer into June 1st. Notice over the past 7 years, these are all the names that have developed in the month of May. So again, we have seen repetition there with early storm development. As far as the forecast and the outlook for this year, notice we are forecasting, or Colorado State University is of above average storms. And that means also hurricanes and even major hurricanes, which would be a Category 3 or higher. As far as the tropics go right now, across the entire Atlantic basin, right through the Caribbean and the Gulf, we're not expecting any new development, at least over the next 5 days. So this is a long-range pattern. Just want you to keep this in mind. So again, you continue to stay up to date with the forecast as far as the tropics go, so you're not caught off by surprise, especially as we trend closer to Memorial Weekend. So take a look, future track. I'm going to show you two different model runs, and they are different. So it's good that you kind of keep up to date with both on where the potential zone of possible development would be. So this is getting into the 27th, 28th, 29th of May. So towards the end of the month, closing in on Memorial Day. Notice that the GFS model is saying, hey, let's watch the Yucatan from the Caribbean into the Gulf for the potential of storm development. Sea surface temperatures are starting to be warm enough for that potential development. And then the Euro is actually showing signs that potentially in the Bay of Campeche, or maybe even in the Pacific, there's going to be a lot of factors. One, land interaction, if anything would try to develop and move across the Yucatan. Another factor that we're watching that would limit storm formation would be these upper level winds. So we show you wind shear, and that's because when we have these strong upper level winds, thunderstorm development is actually suppressed, and that's what leads to less energy for the chance of either a depression or a storm to develop inside the Gulf. And it does look like a lot of wind shear right through the central portion of the Gulf of Mexico. So as we get into next week, we're going to be monitoring that really closely. That can really impact the chance of development. Also, so can dust. Believe it or not, when we get these big plumes of dust that move off the coast of Africa, this can actually limit or suppress the chance for any development. This also acts like those upper level winds, that wind shear, and helps to kind of shear the tops of thunderstorms, which also suppress any storm formation. And it does look like we are going to see a pretty decent dust cloud push off the coast of Africa by the upcoming weekend into next week, traveling through the Caribbean and inside the Gulf, which isn't that incredible how it does that with those upper level winds. It helps to carry it right across the Atlantic basin there. And in across the area, it can impact your allergies, sometimes asthma. If you have emphysema, it can also impact that. It can impact our air quality levels. So we're going to monitor this through the upcoming weekend. But both the upper level winds and the wind shear can act together in suppressing storm formation. So we're watching and tracking those models closely. At that time of the year, again, you need to kind of continue to stay up to date with the weather forecast. Bottom line, over the next 7 days, we're not expecting any new development, but it will be through the upcoming weekend when we fire up those rain chances that I think we'll have a better handle on what we can expect as we head into Memorial Weekend. That's the latest as far as the tropics. We'll keep you updated right here.